If you were around people who were more so toxic for you and you were in a toxic dynamic with them, they probably weren't uplifting you. They probably weren't telling you how amazing you are, how valuable you are, how smart and intelligent you are. You're always growing. Say it. You're always growing. I'm always growing. I'm always learning. Those L's: learning, lesson, living, loving, laughing, right? We're not losing ever. To know what you're able to do, you have to stop limiting yourself. And in that, you will find self-acceptance. The secret to a high self-esteem is whatever happens in this video stays in this video. Hey y'all, I'm Ariel. Welcome to my channel if you're new, and welcome back if you're a subby. I call my subscribers my subbies because I love y'all, and I shorten words that I love. Like, I shorten the words of things that I love. So like Amazon, Amma, right? Y'all will hear more of that. But anyways, let's get into the first video of her hidden curriculum. Shh. What happens in these videos stays between us. Right, okay? So before we get into it, I just want to preface this by saying I will be drilling off these nails while I'm doing this because I loved my long nails for my birthday. They ate up and ate down, but I love my natural nails. I change my hair a lot, and it's hard for me to do hair and stuff with my nails and just type. I gotta go to work, things of that nature, and so on and so forth. But just wanted to preface it by saying that I will be soaking these off during this, but we're gonna go straight into it with the confidence topic. Okay, we're gonna get into confidence, and I will preface this by saying again that this is not gonna be a very formal series. I'm not about to sit up here and preach to y'all. I'm really just telling y'all how I gained these certain, factors of being a woman and what made me feel powerful as a woman. And I really think that you guys need to really get into the power that comes with knowing who you are, being grateful for what you have, your hair color, your hair texture, just loving it for what it is naturally, and also knowing how to enhance that. Because when you know how to enhance what you have and what God gave you, I promise you, it's only up from here. Mind you, I don't know if I said this already. I got ADHD. 2, I don't know whether to look here at this camera here or right here. So if you see me changing like my eye contact, look, y'all, I haven't decided yet, okay? But let's get into it. We're gonna go through 10 things, okay? This is the first video, so whatever happens in this video stays in this video, okay? Her hidden curriculum, episode 1, lecture 1, class number 1. Okay, let's get into it. The first thing you need to know is that your self-esteem is everything, okay? So let me tell you the secret to manifesting and creating a high self-esteem. Okay, so this is the first thing that you need to realize. Your self-esteem will take you places that you haven't even dreamed of. It will take you intangible places that you haven't even dreamed of. So what do I mean by that, right? Girl, understand this. People with low self-esteem, oh my God, the misery. Okay, so y'all know that phrase, misery loves company? Well, people with low self-esteem don't like when people have high self-esteem, which is why if you were around people who were more so toxic for you and you were in a toxic dynamic with them, they probably weren't uplifting you. They probably weren't telling you how amazing you are, how valuable you are, how smart and intelligent you are in your own way. Let me tell you something about that. Okay, I'm smart, right? I know a lot of science because I study it. Ask me about a car, I'm gonna be lost. I'm not gonna know what the hell is going on. Excuse my French. But I'm not gonna know what's going on, right? Why? Because I don't study that. Okay, so I know that you're smart and know certain things that other people don't know. And I know that just off of facts, just speaking, because I promise you there's something you know that they don't. So no one else has the right to tell you you know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to self-esteem, and people are jealous of you or see that you have a lot of potential, they're not going to really try to uplift you if they themselves don't have a high self-esteem. Okay? So self-esteem is actually one of the top points of what a human needs, period, in order to reach their greatest potential, their fullest potential, their higher self, right? So let me tell you this too. When you're around somebody and then after you leave their presence or they leave your presence, you feel worse than what you did than when you saw them before, that means that they projected unto you. And that also means that you might have absorbed their energy. Okay, you might have absorbed that insecurity and that void of life type of feeling and not even realize it. And now you're leaving the conversation feeling a little worse and you're kind of thinking that it's you, but you have to be aware of the fact that sometimes it's just them. Okay, so self-esteem is something that you need to protect. Self-esteem is something that you need to formulate for yourself. Like, I think like I started personally asking myself questions like, why should I be confident in myself? You know, what do I like about myself? What am I proud of about myself? Like, what have I done that makes me proud? Just me. What do I like about myself that only I, you know, that no matter what anybody else tells me, I'm still gonna love that about me. Not even like, F that. Right? We love it. We love it. Okay. Like sometimes, honestly, I'll give you an example. I'm a very intelligent individual, but sometimes I have the blondest moments ever. And guess what? I love that about me. And I think that's what I'm getting to, you guys. Loving your flaws changes the ball game. That's the secret to it. Honestly, the secret to a high self-esteem is loving your flaws, loving the fact that you make mistakes, literally, like loving the fact that you learn lessons in life, loving the fact that some people will only want to experience or are only supposed to experience you for a sentence, a paragraph, a chapter, or a couple of chapters or a season of your life. So it's like knowing that and knowing that and loving the fact that you're always going to have you, that will boost your self-esteem and that's a way that you can boost your self-esteem every day, literally every day. Loving your flaws. I know it sounds cheesy, but when you love your flaws, when you love your big nose, when you love that your body isn't like a cartoon character's body, when you love that, you know, you're a little bigger in this area, smaller in this area, when you love that your hair falls the way it does or rises the way it does, when you love that you sometimes have dumb moments and sound stupid, when you love that you make mistakes to learn and grow as a human being, because that is how the creator, that higher power created us to learn, literally. Sidebar, mistakes are how humans learn. We would not learn any other way. The only way we could have known how to do half the things that we know how to do is because people have gone through trial and error. In life, you will have to go through trial and error. Let's get back onto it. When you love your flaws, oh, girl, they ain't touching you. They're not touching you once you love your flaws. I promise you. Because once you love all of the things that somebody could like make you feel insecure for or hate you for or unfriend you for, break up with you for, whatever the case may be, it gives you so much power. And it's something that you can do just by changing your mindset and being like, you know what? Even though they don't like this about me and, you know, like this isn't as pleasing to the eye to this person, I love it. I love it because it's me. Like, honestly, y'all, like nobody is going to love you more than you love you. I promise. Because nobody knows you like you know you. That's another part of self-esteem. Never let anybody tell you who you are. Only you know who you are. The only person that can hear your thoughts at the end of the day is you. When you are laying asleep in that bed, They're not in your mind. They're not knowing what thoughts are really circulating throughout your brain, the dreams, the aspirations, the mistakes, the embarrassing moments, the things that you care about, the people that you feel for, the way you feel for those people. They are not there. They are not there. And sometimes we don't even want to be there, quite frankly. Sometimes I'm like, can you turn off tonight? No? Okay. We're going to go through it. All right. And you know what? That's healthy, because whenever you really just sit back in your mind and take control of the thoughts, start giving your own thoughts your conscious dialogue. Okay, that is another way to boost your self-esteem. Conscious dialogue of thought. Okay, so like whenever you're in the bed, bear with me, right? Let's get it. Okay, so let's visualize. You're in the bed, you just took a nice shower or bath, you did your skin routine, you brushed your teeth, you cleaned behind your ears, under your nails, under all the crevices and cracks and whatnot, and you feel clean. You just had a cup of tea, some water, whatever, you know. You get in the bed and you say, how did we do today? Like, were there any moments that we could have done better? You know, what am I proud of myself? What did I do today that, you know, makes us proud? And you really go through that and you give your thoughts your conscious dialogue, because it's like whenever you just let them run wild and you let that insecure, inferior voice in your head, the inner critic inside of you, when you let that inner critic just blah, 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 and you did this and that was embarrassing and you tripped and then you fell and then they said this to you and then you didn't say anything because you couldn't think of anything fast enough to say, and then now you look stupid and like, you command that voice to shut the hell up. Excuse my French, okay? Be quiet. Sometimes I'm like, no, shut up. Okay, thank you. But also too, I kind of try to be gentle, because I'm like, this is still a part of me, so I don't like to talk to myself crazy, because I don't let nobody else talk to me crazy. And that's another thing we're gonna get into. I used to, and I mind you, again, I'm not sitting here trying to preach to y'all. These are all the things that I have learned through making the mistakes myself. Never talk to yourself in a way that you wouldn't want your significant other to talk to you. Never talk to yourself in the way that you would never want your child to be talked to. You get what I'm saying? Because you do have that inner child inside of you, always, baby. So you're always protecting that little girl, or, you know, that little boy, whatever, you know, whoever's watching this really. But you know, you catching you catching what I'm putting down, right? So bear with me here. When you decide to tell yourself, you know what, I love that I look dumb. You know why? Just frame. That's called framing. You got to frame it in a way that you can learn from it and smile about it. I mean, the grass really is greener on the other side if you frame it correctly as far as mindsets go. Okay? So when you're like, you know what, I'm so glad. Sometimes, honestly, y'all, I'm like, oh my gosh, my life is such a movie. Like, I would have nothing to say, or, you know, oh, like, you know what, like, this is such a character development episode. Like, it just is, because come on, like, you could get hit by a bus tomorrow on some Regina George things. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's reel it in. It's gonna be okay, and let yourself know that you love yourself so much and you're so confident and trust the decisions that you make for yourself, that you know at the end of the day it's gonna be okay. Okay, so as far as self-esteem goes, the secret to self-esteem is loving the terrible, flawed things about you, so that you can form great new habits in order to maybe change the ones that you really feel are toxic and are unhealthy for you and are bad for you. And the way to know that is if you did this every day. If you talk to yourself this way every day, would it help you or would it hurt you? Those are the things that you need to toss out. And that way you're loving yourself through, you know, you developing and evolving, instead of tearing yourself apart and further, you know, deteriorating your self-esteem. If it's already here, why are you, oh, I'm so stupid, I'm so, like, I'm lame, nobody will ever love me. You're supposed to love you. It's not nobody else's job to love you, I promise. It's just not. They don't owe you that. They really don't. And some people will let you know. Some people will let you know. So you need to take responsibility for your self-esteem. It's called self-esteem for a reason. Okay? let's get into the next one. Now we're going to get into self-actualization. Okay. Do you even know what your talents are, or have you been holding yourself back so much that you haven't even really tapped into yourself for real? Like, how well do you know what skills you have in order to even know your purpose here? Because I feel like knowing your purpose here on this earth just brings you so much confidence, like in walking around, in your walk, in your step, how you eat, how you dress. Okay, so self-actualization is the realization or fulfillment of your talents, okay, and your potentialities, meaning like, have you even visualized what your fullest potential looks like? Okay, so like, this is especially known as like that need, that desire, that drive within you that gets you up out of that bed every morning. Okay, so let's think about self-actualization. Like, y'all, if you're spiritual, you might have heard of things like your higher self. You know, if you're not, you just might have heard things like, okay, like, when is this person going to reach their full potential? Like, when am I going to reach my full potential? Or even looking at a partner and saying, oh, they have potential, right? What does that mean? That means that you have visualized the best version of you or that person, which the latter is not, it's very toxic, not healthy, right? Now, I do it too, and it's a very natural human thing for us to do, but I think it's best when you focus all of that visualization of the future on yourself and yourself only, until that person says, you know what, I really do see you in my future, whatever. We're not really going to get into the dating right now, but we will further get into this. Okay, so whenever you're like, okay, so like, this is how I would want my hair to look, this is how I would want my skin to look and feel, this is how I would want my words to sound, this is how I want to speak, this is how I want to dress, this is the way I want to breathe whenever I'm talking to someone, this is the way I want to stand, like, this is what my dream office, building, house, boat, beach house, condo, you know, whatever. This is what my dream townhouse looks like, apartment looks like. This is what my dream makeup is going to look like. These are the dream nails that I'm going to have. This is the dream relationship that I'm going to have. Mind you, when you do that, I really wouldn't focus on putting a face to that person, but more so just like knowing what you want. So like, again, though, this is focusing on yourself. I did just see something on either Instagram or TikTok, and it was like, I don't work on myself, and you should not be working on yourself so that, you know, oh, someone will come along. Just work on yourself and someone will come along. We're working on ourselves for ourselves. Self. Okay, like, you are working on you for you so that you can learn how to love the worst parts of you. Okay, so when you think of self-actualizing, you are thinking of the greatest, most powerful version of yourself. Don't limit it. Like, don't be so practical, but also be realistic. So like, and I think that's a tricky thing with it as well. Like, how, like, you know, don't be out here, you know, being like, I want to be able to fly, you know, like, let's reel it in. Me too, but let's reel it in, you know, like, it needs to be something that you, first of all, naturally desire. I think that's a really big key component in it. Visualize something, visualize the self that you want to be, that you actually desire to become. Like, honestly, like, this is what I really want to do. Like, this is what I really, really feel in my depths of my heart. My heartstrings are pulled whenever I visualize this version of me. And always know that that version can be improved year after year after year after year. There's always room and work to be done in this game of life, in this cycle of healing. There's always work to be done. So this isn't a like, okay, you climb that mountain and you just sit there and you're just like, well, all right, like, I guess that's it. No, you find a bigger mountain and you climb it. I know there's always there's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. She knew. Okay, She knew. So there's always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there. Ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb. Yeah. All right, let me start. I was clearly a Disney child. Y'all know. Anyway, if you don't, you don't. Oh my gosh. If you know, you know. You don't, you don't. And if you don't, that breaks my heart for you. But anyways. Okay, so never be stagnant either. So I think self-actualization is also about knowing that actualization can always just keep going and going. You can always get, okay, wait. Because honestly, every time I have thought about like the best version of myself, it grows and increases every time. Or sometimes it just changes. Not to say that it grows or decreases or increases or decreases or what have you. It might just kind of go this way or you know, whatever brings you peace of mind at night, quite honestly. Like whatever makes you really be like, I would love that. Like you would just love that. Like you would feel finally like your prayers were answered. Like just the way you look and like feel, like all of that is self-actualization. And I think self-actualization takes visualization. Okay? It takes vision in order to self-actualize, because without that, you won't see it in your mind's eye. Okay, it's not something that it's tangible that you can just see and be like, yep, that's what I want. You have to visualize it. Okay, and you know that you're visualizing the right thing whenever you feel it. Like you're gonna feel like so warm and like, oh my God, like it should make you excited. It should make you elated to think like that's who you could be and can definitely be if you put your mind to it one day. Okay. So next is self-determination. Okay. So self-determination is basically your ability to make decisions and manage your own life. So if you grew up in a household to where you became a people pleaser, or you became someone who really just wanted, well, that is a people pleaser, wanting out external validation and approval from your parents, your siblings, your friends, your significant other, and what have you. If you became this type of person who and I don't want to just say people pleaser, because sometimes you just kind of like subconsciously do things to make other people proud. You make decisions so that it's convenient for everybody. And I don't really think that latter one is people pleasing, because if you're just trying to be like, if you were a parentified child is a child that felt like a parent when they were a child. They were only an adolescent, right? So you were only a teenager, okay? You were only 12, 13, 14, and so on, right? And so whenever you're parentified and you grow up, you kind of make decisions based on, is everybody else good? Everybody else good with that decision? Okay, is everybody good? All right. There's a difference between that and wanting validation. Okay, so people pleasing is a whole nother topic, and we're going to get into that later. But for now, we're going to focus on self-determination and basically how that can affect your confidence, right? So when we get into self-determination, you get into like trusting yourself. And that's what I was saying earlier. It's knowing that no matter what, you are so in tune with your destiny. You're so in tune with your spirit and your own higher power that is guiding you through life, that you know every mistake, every wrong, see, and this is where we're going to get into this. I don't believe that there's a wrong path. I don't know if that's like really, I don't know if that's like extremely controversial. Probably not the most controversial we've heard on the, probably not the most controversial thing we've heard on the internet, right? But I just don't think there's a wrong path. At first I was thinking of it as like, this is the path. And like, sometimes I fall off this way or fall off that way. But I'm like, but without this and without that, I wouldn't have learned to go even more forward in a way. Like I wouldn't have known how to move forward as best as I could if I didn't grab those skills, grab those tools so that I could have equipment for the next, phase and checkpoint in my life. I don't really think of my decisions that had me learning a hard lesson is a wrong decision, because you can't go back. You know what I mean? So in other words, it's like I'm framing it in a way to where I can grow from it. Like, I know we can make bad decisions sometimes. I know we can make decisions that kind of end up being a mistake, but you can't go back. And that's why I would have this thing of like, I don't have any regrets. Like in college, that was my thing. Like, I don't regret anything. Any choice I make, like, I know why I made it. I thought out the consequences. I'm okay with the consequences. Like, this is what I'm doing, period. Even if it had me sliding down the wall crying, even if I talked to a guy that I knew I wasn't supposed to talk to, but for some reason, I found my little butt at the corner of his bed, like, hi. Right? Like, for some reason, I was like, just not him, mind you, not him, but it's like for some reason I felt like there was something to learn there. Me personally, and I hope other people can understand this, when I make a decision, even if it is giving a young man my time, right? For me, it's because it's like I'm following something. I really don't think of, because there's some guys you don't even like think about after they approach you. It's like, get out of my face, right? But then there are some guys, like, you don't even know why. You're like, he's not that cute, you know, he's not really that funny, just something about this person is causing me to want to learn more. And then you end up learning a lesson, okay? So those L's, they're never losses. We're going to make them lessons here. We're not doing the loss. Nobody's losing. That's a lack mindset. You're always growing. Change it. You're always growing. Say it. You're always growing. I'm always growing. I'm always learning. Those L's, learning, lesson, living, loving, laughing, right? We're not losing ever. Never losing, okay? So I'm saying all that to say, like, trust your decisions that you're making. Because whenever you give up on yourself as far as making decisions for your life, for who you're gonna love, like who you're gonna give your time to, what job you're gonna take, where you should live, like just simple things like that. Don't let anybody, if you a bougie baddie girl ting, I don't really want to curse, I was about to say, but if you a bougie and you want to live in the skylights and the skyscraper, go do that. If you a country girl to your core and you want to live with a bunch of grass surrounding you, a farm to your left, a pond to your right, baby, please do it. If you are a classy lady and you want the white picket fence with your family and your kid, do that. That's your decision. Like, I just hate, like, somebody was telling me the other day, like, that they wanted a towel warmer, and somebody told them, oh, you're so bougie, why do you ain't never had a towel warmer, like, let's pipe down. Like, if I want to feel bougie after I step out the shower, that's whose decision to make? Yours. Mine. Not anybody else's. It's not about her. It's not about him. It's not about she. It's not about them. It's about you and the decision that you know is going to make you happy. That's another thing that I do want to get into, is like a period of self-isolation. It is so underrated. But for now, we're going to move on to the next topic to increase your confidence, girl. Okay, y'all, this is the update. I kind of drilled off all the gel, you know, but now we're going to be getting into self-concept. As you can see, there's a pattern here. It's a lot to do with you and yourself. You, yourself, and you, okay? Or me, myself, and I, right? Self-concept. Let me give you the definition so that we know what we're talking about, okay? Self-concept, the psychological definition for this, is a collection of beliefs a person has about themselves and how others respond to them. It's a cognitive, meaning brain function, or descriptive part, meaning the way you speak about yourself, of a person's self. And it's different from self-awareness and self-esteem. Okay, self-concept can include a person's psychological and physical characteristics, your skills, the roles you have, and the qualities that you have. It can also include your past, your present, and your future self, such as what they might become or what they're afraid of becoming. That's a deep one, and I love it, okay? I love that. I love that definition because, okay, if you didn't watch Inside Out 2, you should watch it. They basically showed us the inside of her brain, right? You know, that's where like some of the movie takes place. There was a part deep in her brain where her belief system was. And it was a bunch of strings, like beautiful string, like fluorescent strings, like shooting up, and it looked gorgeous, right? And when she pulled on the string, kind of like a guitar string, you heard it say, "I'm a good person. I'm a loving friend. I'm a good friend. I love my mom. I love my dad. I love my Those were her core self-beliefs that formed her self-concept. So I love how it said it can also include your past, which is why I said earlier that like, because I feel we can't change the past, because we cannot change the past, we can only reframe it in order for us to grow from it. Because your self-concept, I'll say unfortunately, because you know what, I'm not proud of a lot of the things that I've done in the past and how I've handled a lot of situations, I promise. Like I'm really, you know, I could think about it now and be like, damn. But at the same time, I can't even bring myself to be like, I can't believe I did that. Oh, I can believe it. I was not doing the work I was supposed to be doing. If you don't know what you don't know, why would you not have grace with yourself? Why would you not reframe that so that you could see it from a perspective of loving yourself through your mistakes and your flaws? You're not perfect, baby. You ain't Jesus. You ain't Jesus Christ incarnated. You ain't none of them prophets, Muhammad. You're not Buddha. You ain't Gouda. I'm sorry, y'all. What's his name? Let me put respect on that man's name. Hold on. It's Buddha, right? I said Gouda. That's cheese. Okay. Buddha. Yeah, you're not Buddha, okay? And you're not Yoda, all right? You're not perfect. They spit on Jesus Christ. They spit on him. And he was perfect as they could come, as they could be. Now, I'm the type of person to where I look at the Bible in a metaphorical sense. That's just the way I studied it. However, that story right there, it'll just change your perspective on how humans receive and respond to you. They spit on Jesus Christ in his face while he was down. And all he did was show love. All he was doing was showing a little bit of love, you know, giving out some teachings. Nothing crazy. Ain't cheat on nobody. He ain't slap nobody. He ain't kill nobody. But got spat on. And was one of the most perfect, you know, and this is a story, but at the same time, it goes to show you it's not about being perfect. And I really hate that that's a word, because it has really, I know it's not just me. I know it has like really affected a lot of us women. Oh my God. I really thought that was a real thing, y'all. It's not. I said, newsflash, it's not. I hope you knew that. If you don't know that, take a deep breath. You can never be perfect. You can only be you. And I feel like I need to say this because this is like on my spirit. When I say you can only be you, you need to know how special you are. And only you know how special you are. Only you know what you went through and how you went through it and how long it took you to get out of those ruts, those rock bottoms, those moments where you just thought you could not go anymore. I have this running joke that the next time the universe tries to pull a fast one, I'm going to email them flat earthers and find out where the end of the earth is, and I will jump off. Okay. Like, I just feel like that is so funny, because where is it then? Where is it? Tell me. Shout out to flat earth people though. Seriously. Shouts out to y'all. Y'all might never mind. Let me stop joking like that, y'all. But you know, it gets to I'm in all jokes aside, like in all seriousness, it gets to that point where you're like, I don't know if I can do this anymore, because you don't. It's like you don't even know how great you are and how great the purpose you have and how happy you can be while operating in your purpose. Like what's your soul purpose, your life purpose, and what's meant for you. Like the happiness I feel whenever I'm operating in my purpose is like, I could never even let another bad moment in life pull a blindfold over the happiness that I felt when doing what I know is meant for, you know, the greater good of humanity and my purpose. Like, it's like when you do the work in forming your own belief of who you are, so that your self-concept can be something that you can be proud of and love, being you will just be enough. It will be enough. Honestly, it will fulfill you. Because I feel like right now, like if you're watching this and I'm like, you can't be perfect, you can only be you. Some of y'all like, damn, like, thought I was going to be perfect one day. Being you is being your mistaken, flawed self is the perfect. Okay, like that is perfection. The flaws that is in a human being is what makes us so wonderfully made. Okay. The blemishes on our face, okay, because it says the physical qualities as well, like the blemishes on our face, the weird shapes of all of our different noses, and honestly, we're gonna get into that, ladies, because it's like, I'm not saying that you can't enhance any of the things that you have, but love it first. Just be grateful for it first. I feel like once you have a, you know, eternal 24/7 armor of gratitude around you at all times for who you are, what you look like, your mistakes, you know, the bad days, the good days, and all of it, your self-concept will just be enough for you. Like, you will just be satisfied with that, truly. So let's get into the next one. And I feel like I'm gonna get into each and every single one of these, but I feel like this had to be the first video so that I could preface like what we're gonna be talking about in this series and just like how it's gonna go. And I'm just like super excited. So like, let's move on to the next topic. Okay, y'all, we're almost fully done drilling off the gel, but we're gonna get into the existential self. So in that word, you should have heard exist, existential self. We're going to give you a definition so that we know what we're talking about. So the existential self is the most basic part of the self scheme or self concept, which we talked about earlier. Okay. The sense of being separate and distinct from others and the awareness of the constancy of the self. Okay, so there's two parts of self-concept, your existential self and your categorical self. We're going to get into the categorical self after this, but let's stick to the existential self topic for right now so that we can like really know what we're talking about. Okay, so this is basically like, okay, the I. Okay, so I know what happened, you know, as far as like how I feel, how I talk, what I think, you know, what I believe, what I see, what I smell, what I taste, you know, touch, and so on and so forth. So this is knowing that you are separate from other people's reality. Does that make sense? Like, let's get into it, y'all. I'm a very abstract individual. Sometimes I feel like I'll talk a little too abstractly, so I gotta bring it back to practicality, because it's like, let me ground what I'm trying to say. Like, and some of y'all probably got that. Thank you for the ones that just got it. But I do want to make sure like I'm being heard and received correctly, because when you realize that like and I think it's so funny because this was really something that gave me peace as well as confidence in myself, my decisions, who I am, what I want to do, when I want to do it, and how I want to do it. Okay? and not caring if anyone has to, what other people have to say about it. Like, please disapprove of it. I dare you. Ooh, like, because I am separate from you. I am separate from that drama. I am separate from any award. I am separate from any job. I'm separate from any school. I am separate from any organization. I am separate from all of that. It's like I am my own person. Okay? You are a distinct individual that is separate from that relationship. You are separate from your family members. You are separate from your friend group. You are separate. You are a distinct individual. So when you say I, know that you are literally re-announcing that you are a distinct individual that has every right to know how you experience something and not let anybody else tell you differently. I'm gonna say this as well. That doesn't mean that you aren't open to other people's perspectives, because you still want self-compassion, consideration, and empathy. However, when it comes to like how you feel, when you're saying I felt this way after you did XYZ, and that's why I stress that people express their feelings in a way that starts off, I felt angry whenever you talk to me like that. So that it's not, you made me feel angry. Nobody else can make you feel anything. Please remember that. Okay? Nobody else can make you feel like nothing. So whenever you communicate your feelings, it needs to be, I felt blank because of XYZ. And I feel like that's something that really helped me in understanding that I have every single bit of control over how I express my emotions and how I feel through my emotions. Feeling is formed after thought takes place. Whenever, what I told y'all earlier, remember when I said to give your thoughts your conscious dialogue? Whenever I'm feeling a type of way, I will literally be like, okay, like I'm kind of uncomfortable. Well, why am I uncomfortable? Well, it's because of this. Well, okay, what are we going to do? And because I've changed and frame shift a lot of the things that happened in my past to a way that I could grow from it, I find that that inner critic kind of turned into an inner critical analysis type of person, like more of so a person in my head that says, well, you know, why and what can we do to make this better? Because I don't like this feeling. What can we do, you know, in order to move past this in a way that we grow from it, instead of just constantly feeling like it's your responsibility to uplift everyone else or do the right thing in everyone else's reality. The only thing you have control of is you. Like, you know what I'm saying? The only thing that you have control of is when you say, I blank, blank, blank. I blank, 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 blank. I don't like this. I don't deserve this. I don't want to be here. I know I can do this. I can do anything I set my mind to. Your existential self is knowing that you are an individual. Period. Whoever disagrees with your individuality, they can kindly take their leave, okay? Tell them where the door is, baby, and tell them not to let it hit them where the good Lord split them, okay? Because we ain't got time for that. We don't have time for that. Tomorrow is not promised. So what are you doing? Okay. All right. Again, your existential self is basically being separate and distinct from others and the awareness of the constancy of the self. You'll always have you. Like, you'll always be able to be like, how do you feel? I feel like when you're talking to yourself, and I really, really stress that people talk to themselves more. Whenever you're talking to yourself and you're like, I don't know, okay, let me stop. I'm ADHD. Okay, because we gotta stay focused. Okay, like we can't be doing that right now. SpongeBob was in my head, y'all. Anyways, let's stay focused, ladies. Let's stay focused, queens. Okay, so yes, like That's that I in you, that existential self. You'll always have it. It's constant. That is one thing that is constant in this lifetime. All I ask is that you don't take it for granted. Just a suggestion, okay? So as far as self-concept is concerned, there are two parts. We already got and went over the existential self, and now we are going to get into the categorical self. The definition being the realization that individuals exist as individual objects in the world with distinct properties such as age, hair color, and gender. As we grow older, this component also begins to include psychological traits, okay? So the existential self, which begins to form around around 2 months of age, literally when you're a freaking infant, okay, is basically the child's sense of being a distinct, continuous entity, okay? The categorical self is emerging around 18 months. So that's what, a year, like when you're about 1 year old. And this involves the recognition of oneself as an object with properties such as age, gender, and various roles. Okay, so just an example of the categorical self. A child identifying themselves as a boy or girl based on their, okay, so categorical self. Guys, ladies, this is so important. The reason I'm including all of these terms within confidence is that so you know what you're doing. You know, it's like this is so essential to life, but I didn't even think to go in this direction to look at like how I can increase my confidence, but this is really how I did it. Not letting anyone else tell me, who I am. That's why when I say any of you who identifies as a woman, baby, that's your choice. I just don't, like, I'm the type of person, like, why do you care so bad? Don't let any government, don't let anybody when my neck gets a moving, y'all know, don't let anybody tell you what category you belong in. Only you can do that, okay? If you even want to be in a category, quite honestly, because some people stop counting their age, to be honest, and what they gonna say, unless this is like a school you need to get into and you got to put your birthday, okay, but like as far as people asking, oh, how old are you? As old as the sun. Like whatever, as old as the prettiest flower you've ever seen, like whatever you want to say, it's your choice. The other thing with the categorical self is that it's a lot more factual. So like I am a Black woman, I am 24 years old as of recent. Okay. Let's see, I'm average height, I'm 5'6", just a little bit about me since this is the first video. Okay. What other thing? I was born this day. I'm from here, right? So as far as the categorical self is concerned, the part that really coincides and correlates with confidence is that loving every single part of that is going to really show yourself that if somebody else on this earth does not, it doesn't concern you. You've already made peace with the fact that you're this old. Not old, like, God, let me not say it like that. But like, you're this young, you're this many years young or this many years old. You're Black, white, Asian, Indian, whatever. You got this color eyes. You are this tall or this short. You're, whatever the case may be. And you're happy and you're satisfied and you love that about yourself, no matter what anybody says. And if you just so happen to want to change that, conceal that, hide it, whatever the case may be, for whatever reason, that's your prerogative. I can't lie to you. Now, again, when it comes to involving someone else in your life, it's a kind of a different story, but we're just talking about you here. Okay. We're talking about you and you only, because the most important and most essential thing you could ever do in this life is learn who you are and gain knowledge about yourself. And in gaining knowledge about yourself, learning to love every single thing that you learn about yourself, even if you don't like it. You cannot like something, but love it. Okay. And in loving that, in loving something about yourself that you don't like, you can change and grow and evolve from it in a way that you empower yourself instead of tear yourself down. So when it comes to your categorical self, as far as like, okay, like I'm black, you know, so I, you know, do da 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 da, I'm white, so I'm Indian, so ki, whatever. It's your prerogative, right? So actually, I lost my train of thought and the drill was drilling, but yeah, I was saying, so like, in being aware of the fact that you are in a category due to what society has grouped us, right? You're aware of it, but it does not change the amount of love that you have for yourself. Okay? That should not, you just because you're in this category doesn't mean you're lesser than, in other words. And that's how I'm gonna end that one. Okay, let's get on to the next topic. Stay with me, we're almost done, you guys. Okay, period. And that leads us on to the next thing to boost your confidence, which is self-acceptance. That's, you know, pretty explanatory. So let me read y'all the definition really quick. The act or state of accepting oneself, the act or state of understanding and recognizing one's own abilities and limitations. You know, I was reading like some stuff about what fear does for us as humans. And when I got on the spiritual definition of it, it was that fear protects us, but it also can limit us in life in a way that we don't live it fully. And so there's so much about your own self to be aware of, let alone another person. Like, I'm not gonna lie, you guys, and I'm only 20, y'all heard me, I'm only 24 out here. I'm still learning things. Like, honestly, with as much work I do to learn myself, I really have gotten to a point where I'm like, wow, for the people that are in relationships right now, like, I honestly want to salute and applaud off to you for having enough space and patience to be learning somebody else. And I just hope that you don't forget to dedicate, you know, a lot of your energy to still learning yourself, catering to yourself, and knowing what you need. Okay, so we're not gonna get too far into that. I felt that on my spirit, so I wanted to say that. But recognizing your own abilities and limitations, because sometimes we limit ourselves without even knowing it. That's why I was saying, whenever you are imagining your highest self, are you limiting yourself? Do you, and then mind you, you don't even know all of what skills you're gonna build up along the way, which is why that visualization is always changing. Okay, so when it comes to self-acceptance, the more you realize what you're able to actually do, it's like when you think about a goal and like it's just in your head and then you do it, your confidence goes up. Your self-reliability goes up. You start trusting, you're like, oh, okay, like I did that. I was able to do that. So you learning what you're able to do is also a part of you getting up and stop being, you know, and quit the laziness and procrastination. Okay, so you can't self-accept until you actually have tried to see what all you're capable of, and in doing that, how you limit yourself. Because I'll tell you one thing. Oh, I don't know why the drill stopped, y'all. I'm gonna tell you one thing. Didn't say anything. Hold on. Okay, so, because I'll tell you one thing. There's a lot of things that I didn't know I could do until I was consistent. Take, for instance, like wigs. Like, honestly, this is probably one of the best wigs I've ever like laid on my head. If y'all want to see the video, go on my page. You know, shameless promo. But it took me about a year and a half to really like be confident in doing it. Like, I did this for my birthday. Like, imagine if this would have came out bad, but like something in me just knew I was capable, I was able to do it. Why? Because I consistently built the skill up. Like, I consistently put time and work into learning how to put a wig on my head. The same thing with anything else. That's why it's like learning, accepting what your abilities are comes with consistency in what you want to be able to do. You can do anything you set your mind to. So that's why it also says your limitations. Because it's like, if you don't think you're able to run a mile, is that true, or are you limiting yourself? If you don't think you can lose or gain this however many number of weight, is that true, or are you limiting yourself? If you don't think you deserve an amazing relationship, is that true, or are you limiting yourself? What do you really deserve? I think that is a huge part of self-acceptance, like accepting that you put yourself in a place that you don't like because you limited yourself, and knowing that you're able to find something 10 times better, something that you know you deserve, something that you know will fulfill you because you love yourself. You deserve it. You love yourself. You deserve it. You should love yourself. You should deserve it. Like, why not? Why not? Why not? Honestly, why not? Why not you? If not you, then who? Like, honestly, I used to really think like, I really used to think, I don't think any guy would really want me to be his girlfriend. Why would I? And look, me as a 24-year-old now looking at my 18-year-old self, I'm like, girl, why would you say that? Like, why would you say that? I cannot believe I was limiting myself like that, because I ended up making a lot of dumb mistakes in college that, like, I look back on now, and it's just because I didn't think I deserved to be loved in a way that was like loyal and trusting. Like, I didn't think I was enough for that person to love me, be loyal to me, and for me to trust them, like, and really know, like, oh yeah, they're gonna be loyal to me. Like, I just didn't really, I was like, I don't really think that can happen for me. And God knows why. I'm gonna unpack that. But I know I'm not the only one that's felt that way. I'm not the only one that has had, like, and that's another thing that comes with self-acceptance. It's like, I'm just a human. I'm just a human with some traumas that I need to unpack, some wounds that I need to patch up and heal so that I can move forward and smile and glow through it, glow and grow, glowing and growing, y'all. But yeah, that is self-acceptance. So to know what you're able to do, you have to stop limiting yourself. And in that, you will find self-acceptance. Okay? And that is basically going to bring us into, y'all already knew it was coming, self-love. Okay? I know we hear it all the time. I really do. Like, everybody be quiet about it. But that's what I was saying. You love yourself, so you deserve it. And if you don't think you deserve it, I don't think it means that with which will fulfill you, that in which you find solace and comfort and security and fulfillment, peace, abundance, harmony, like just joy. You're elated. Why don't you want that for you? I just don't know why. I hate that we humans do this, because I'm just really talking to my past self in a way. Like, I cannot believe we walk around here not allowing ourselves to want what's best for us, because we either want the approval from other people, and that's blocking our ability to love ourselves in a way that we know we would actually be happy. It's so crazy. And sometimes we end up lying to ourselves so that we can almost trick ourselves into thinking like we're doing this because we know what's best for us, but deep down, that's not what's best for you. You're not as happy as you could be, and you're just scared to hurt somebody else's feelings, which, thank you for having a heart, you know what I mean? But at the same time, if you go about it in a way that is respectful and you do the best you can possibly do, their feelings are not your responsibility. honestly, because your feelings are nobody else's responsibility. Your ability to love yourself is nobody else's responsibility. So same goes for everybody else, honestly. There's this other creator I watch, and they were basically saying she was like narcissistic because she seemed like she like wanted more. I think she was like dating this guy, and like it seemed like he like gave her money all the time and was like, you know, somewhat of a good boyfriend. Honestly, we don't know it. We didn't see much of her relationship, but she basically expressed that she did not feel like he was the one for her because there was a point in time where she felt like not herself, or like that she wasn't enough. And before that, like I was telling y'all, before she was around him, she was feeling like that girl. And then it was like when she got with him, she started kind of like dwindling off. Now, is that personal to him? No. But because she was like, you know what, I don't think I need this right now, even though this is a good man, you know, like he treats me nice, but they're still cool. She was just like, this is just not what I need right now. And what's best for me is to be single. People really took that and was like, she's narcissistic. You know, she says all this. And when she finally gets a guy, you see all that societal talk, jibber jabber? That's always gonna come. That's why you just gotta say F it and do what's best for you. Honestly, they gonna talk regardless. So as far as self-love is concerned, you need to know what brings you fulfillment, what brings you that feeling of thank you, I really love you for that. And I'm talking about you saying that to yourself. Like whenever I draw myself, for example, whenever I draw myself a nice bath and I like make a concoction, I put like green tea, ACV in there, I put some roses in there, a little cute bath bomb, some Epsom salt, make it nice and warm and toasty in the bathroom and set an ambiance. I lay in that bath and I just go, thank you, I needed this, I love you, to myself. Because I said, you know what, if they not gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. You know, like what? Well, I got a mouth, I can, you know. And now there is a line, because at the same time you don't want to be hyper independent to where when that love does come around for you to receive, that you're like almost like kind of closed off to it because you're like, I can do it myself. But there is so much power in you knowing how you like to be loved. How do you like to be loved? It's not, self-love isn't just like, oh, like, you know, just like love yourself and like just like be yourself and like just like vibe and like loving yourself. No, how do you like to be loved? Do you like, honestly, do you like the acts of service that you do for yourself? Do you like going places? Do you like trying new foods? Do you like dancing with yourself? Like, do you like listening to new music at the lake? Do you like to do it at the pool? Do you like to go to the store in the morning or the night? What do you like to do, and how do you show that love to yourself? Because if you don't know how to show it to yourself, that person, anyone else is not gonna know, because you don't know. Now everybody confused. So it's very important that you know how to love yourself. It's not just, yeah, love yourself. Wait, because honestly, like I didn't know that, okay, like I don't really like I don't really like going to like nighttime events. Like I don't really like going out at night. I like going out in the day. And I didn't know that until I tried both out a couple of times. It takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. And I think the biggest thing is to be patient with yourself in learning how to love yourself. That is another thing that brought me so much confidence, because I'm confident in the fact that I know how to love me. I know what I want. I know what will bring me happiness. I know what I know what will uplift me on a bad day. I know how to be there for myself. And that is very powerful, and in turn will bring you so much confidence. You ain't even gonna know what to do with it. You ain't gonna know how to act. You're not gonna know how to act. But that's why we're here. That's why we're here, because we're gonna talk it through. We're gonna talk it out. All right, so that is going to bring us into self-trust. This kind of coincides with self-determinism in the sense that you need to trust the decisions that you and choices that you make, right? Because self-determinism is like, who are you determined to be and what choices are you going to make to get there? But in order to make those choices, you got to trust yourself. You have to trust yourself. How do you trust yourself? By simply setting a goal and doing it. Like, build that trust with yourself. Because let me ask you this. because I know you know the answer to this. How does someone lose your trust? How can someone break and ruin the trust that was built? By going back on their word, by not doing what they said they were going to do, by betraying you in a way that you could have never meant. So why would you do that to yourself? If you say, and I'm talking to my damn self, excuse my French, y'all, excuse my French, but if I say I'm going to the gym, you know, I'm going to do yoga in the morning. I'm going to wake up at 5. Then I'm going to, you know, shower. I'm going to get ready for work. I'm going to, you know, and all that sort of nature. And then the day comes and I don't do it. I didn't build anything. I just said I was going to do something and then I didn't hold to my word on it. Become a woman of your word. Like, that is how you build self-trust. Become a woman of your word. If you said you were going to stop eating XYZ, stop eating it. I had to block Krispy Kreme, y'all. I had to block them. Y'all realize what I had to do? I had to block Krispy Kreme. Because just them emailing me, and y'all wasn't even text, it was email. And seeing them emails, I'd be like, oh, I was going to Krispy Kreme too much. I had to block them. I had to take my power back. Because I was like, you know what? I said I was going to stop eating Krispy Kreme, like, and gluten in particular, just so that I could try out a new diet to see if it helped with my bloating, which it has, okay? And that brought me self-trust, knowing how to take care of my body, telling and then once I found out that gluten wasn't good for me, and having the self-control and self-discipline to not eat like gluten containing foods and bread and things like that, I gained a lot of self-trust. However, y'all heard me say self-control and self-discipline in that, because being a woman of your word takes discipline and control of self. The only thing you can control is self. Honestly, I probably got to go to the gym tomorrow talking all this stuff. You know, let me practice what I'm, you know, preaching low key. So high key. But self-trust is something that gives you that, you know, extra push of your chin up, right? Y'all ever seen that video with the basketball player and he had his head down and his teammate like lifted his head up? That's what that self-trust does. Every time you go to the gym, pick your head up, you good. Pick your head up, you got this. Pick your head up, queen, your crown is falling. Like, you know, whenever you're like telling yourself, I got you, we're going today. Hey, I'm gonna take care of you today. Hey, I'm gonna do what I said I was gonna do. Hey, I'm gonna actually do my hair today. Hey, I'm gonna actually find a hairstyle that I feel good in. Hey, I'm gonna actually try to find clothes that extenuate my figure in a way that I feel sexy, confident, classy, what have you. Like, it's saying, hey, I'm here for you. You don't have to worry about never trusting anybody, because you trust me as in you as in I. Okay, so as far as self-trust goes, I believe that being a woman of your word is very essential. Okay, last but not least, definitely not least, self-respect. Because let me tell you something. The way I thought I respected myself 5 years ago, and now looking back at the way people would talk to me, treat me, you know, perceive me, and receive me, I had me messed up. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even that. That's another thing. And I want y'all to notice that all of these points had self in it. Because whenever you realize going out into society that you should never take anything too personal and not get so offended, you just become so peaceful in learning your lessons of life, honestly. So when it came to self-respect, and I was one that whenever I was younger, like 18, 19, like I got the, oh, you're really assertive. Like, you know, you could get, because like I would always be like, yeah, I don't play it. Because I would always be like, yeah, I don't play about me. Like, I don't look, don't don't come over here trying to mess with me, because I'm gonna let that inner lioness come out, and you don't want to see her. She's untamed. She's unhinged. Okay, so I thought that was like protecting my self-respect, but it honestly gave like extremely defensive, and very like triggered. Which, even if I was, there's always a better way to go about certain things. And I just believe that taking extreme accountability for our mistakes, and even if you didn't make a mistake, there's always something, you can always do something better. Now, that can get toxic, because I'm not saying to never be proud of yourself for accomplishing something or getting through a tough situation or conversation in a way that you felt proud of. But extreme accountability is basically saying, like, you know what, hey, I'm open to growing. I'm open to learning how I could have done that better for next time, right? Because there will always be a tomorrow. Okay, so when it came to self-respect, the way I tried to establish my self-respect to other people was very loud. It was very unhinged. It was very like, well, I'm going to say something. Like, it came to a point where it was like, okay, you... And I'm talking to myself. It was more of so like the way you're standing up for yourself shows that you don't do this often. And it's giving like you don't even know how to do that. Because there was a point in my life where I didn't really know how to stand up for myself in order to maintain my self-respect. So that was something that I had to learn, that took a little minute, did not happen overnight. But I feel like a big part of self-respect is knowing how to stand up for yourself, and is knowing your value and knowing your worth, and knowing that nobody else should determine that but you. And whoever tries to cut lower than what you think you and know you are, if someone tries to like tell you you're not worth this, you're not this valuable, or you know, they try to like cut you down for standing up for yourself, they can count their days. No, I lie. But like, don't let anybody, like, they can, and mind you, I say don't let anybody, but like, if they want to do all that talking, that's fine. Like, that's cool. But you know, you can let them know, you can watch your mouth. Like, and it doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be disrespectful. You don't gotta, I'm not really the type of person that's gonna encourage anybody to cuss somebody out, because I just feel like that's unladylike. I feel like it's a little unnecessary to use such nasty words when you can just like conducively communicate what's the deal, right? And you can even cuss somebody out without cussing somebody out. I learned how to do that myself. Like, I will cuss you out without using a single cuss word. Like, you know, and the thing that bloop, 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 bloop. So with standing up for yourself, I think it's just honestly being like, can you say that again for me? I don't think I heard you correctly. And if they do say that, that same phrase again in the tone that they said it in, all you got to say is, I don't appreciate that. And quite honestly, you're not somebody that needs to continue to be in my life if that's going to be the way you speak to me. Simple as pie. Now, what you have to do after you say something like that is be a woman of your word. You can't go back and be like, oh, he talked to me like, or they talked to me, she talked to me like that again. Oh, it's fine. It's not okay. It's not. You've already said what you said. So stand on business. Stand on it. Stand on big business with it. You said what you said. Mean it. Right? Love yourself. Protect yourself. Be a woman of your word. If that person talked to you crazy again after you done already told them that you don't like the way that they're speaking to you, treating you, or whatever the case, and you communicate that clearly, concisely, classily, or in a classy manner, and they do it again, just take your leave, sister. Just take your leave, girl, because at this point, they must not really value you. They're not built to value you. They're not built to see your worth, and that is not your problem. they gonna respect you around this, okay? They gonna respect you. They will respect you more when you show them what's up. And by standing on business and doing it so gracefully to where they can't even say nothing. Next thing you know, they're going to be making up lies and rumors about you so that they can look better than what they did. Like, that's the type of, you know, things you want to be so graceful that they got to make something up for you to look bad. Okay, because they looked so crazy in that moment, and that's their own growth journey. Okay, so that will conclude. Let me turn this drill off because I ended up just talking to y'all. But oh my gosh, that will basically conclude the first ever video for her hidden curriculum. Again, this is all so that you can become the most powerful woman you've ever dreamed to be. Okay? Why? Because you deserve to. That's it. That's all. Right? So with that being said, I will be back with more, and y'all watch out for the live so that we can do like a Q&A type thing, because I really just want to keep getting into it. But thank you for listening, watching, and existing. I'm Ariel. Until we meet again.